Okay, so let's keep going now. Let's see. Open the test file again. This we can close. So we have the report view that is going to print some stuff. What is it supposed to print? So you see, it appears that if it is empty, then it's not appearing there. So let's try again. Alright, so link 0022. So because there's actually two selection, which is the body itself and then the face one because I'm clicking it. So anyway, so that means that the subname parser is not adding the empty string, right? And so what does that mean for us? So this function is not about giving us. So that means that here get object from subname, is that even working if the last subname is not there? Maybe it's actually not working. If subname size is less than 2, oh, I think it's not working. Equals 2. If 2 subnames, then it can't be a body, and the object we want is the first. So well, this is not correct, because actually if it's something like that, it's going to be 1. Oh, that's such a pain. So it's this get line. So get line, this standard get line. It seems that this standard get line empty string get line is written in nothing but blank. Yeah, sorry guys, I didn't say it was going to be always very fun, right? There has to be some poking around. So the thing is that, let me think if it's empty. So subname dot size equal to, yes, we may very well have a case where it's like this and then there is only one subname apparently, and so that's not going to work. Let's think. Can I get my thing back here? First I want to make sure that we are really doing what I think we are. So we can put that like this. Let me see. Just start and end here, right? So just to make sure, very sure that we are not seeing something weird. Yeah, but I think it's, what is it building now? Oh no, okay, that's fast enough. So if you're changing only some lines in the C++ file, then it's not going to take a long time to compile. It's going to be pretty fast. Subname is, so you see, okay. So if I double click this, let's see. If I double click this, okay, and I move it, then start subname and, okay, so you see the empty, yeah, the empty does not appear, so that's okay. Subname strings, and let's print that to make sure we are not hallucinating. No, not this. Subname string. Where is it? Oh yeah, right. Just making sure that we don't have any surprise. So it's, if it's indeed like this, parse. So this function is used at several places. First here, oh yeah, after here, so that's the same function actually. Alright, let's try that again. You know, let's see. So I double click on that and I try to move it. So yeah, we have our confirmation here. You see, oh, empty string after the point, and it does not append an empty string. So that means that this is annoying, right? So, well, let us ask our friend, right? Our friend ChatGPT. Because ChatGPT is good to handle syntax things like this. Object dot, in which case getLine is not appending an empty string. So I get and what I want is yeah, so it's just suggesting that we are handling it manually, if I'm not mistaken. If I am not mistaken, if the last character of the input is the delimiter, if so add an empty string, blah blah blah. So subname is not empty if subname string is not empty, and subname string back and equal that, push back this. Yeah, so that should be, we can even take the comment because it's a good comment, right? So let's just add that. And so now it should actually be fine, I guess. Yeah, so let's remove the comments here. if so, an empty string to this. Empty. So for consistency, we want to add the empty string, right? Well, yes, of course. So now, if we go to the get object, what was that? Get object from subname. Where is this function? Right there. So in this function now, this is correct, right? Because get object, it cannot be smaller than 2 now, because you have the subname, the element name, and you have the object name, right? So it cannot be smaller than 2. So that's fine. And so now, what is this function doing? Oh, get object from subnames. Okay. So let us focus back on what we actually want. So this is all fine. So preselection, we don't care about that. Get selected object within assembly, and then we have for auto selection. Let me think. Yeah, because we can also use, you see, resolve, the resolve argument here, sub-object resolving mode, 0, no resolve. 1, resolve sub-object with old style element name. Resolve sub-object with new style element name. So actually, I think, I'm not sure, but I think that the resolve mode could somehow handle like what we're doing here, but the thing is that I seem to recall that there was some incompatibilities in some cases, so I just wrote my own, but that's maybe not the best. So, but yeah, so anyway, let's keep it like this for now, because you know, if it's not so important for now. So what we want to do, yes, subname string, and then parse subnames. So test, let's test if, right, if only solids and subnames dot first subname empty. I just think so first we want to test if the subnames are empty or not, right? Because that's, if it's empty we cannot access it. Continue. Then if only solids and the last of subnames, how do I do that? I need to test if the last letter of the string is empty, is an empty string. So that's easy, yes. So subnames, oh no, the last one, how do we get the last one? Yeah, so something like this. Now subnames dot, I think I can just do something like back. Back. Is back giving the last element? Yeah, probably. Equals right? That should be it. If only solids, and if it's not equals to space, it's not equal to space, then it's not a solid, and then we continue. Alright, so now if we apply the only solids, it should move only the solids. So there is one way to try that, I guess. It's to actually put in here the argument. So let's put true and then true. So now it should accept only solids. And we'll see if we are doing something stupid or not. But actually, let us see what happens, right? So up, let's see, assembly. Let me check if it's still, if you're still there, guys. Yeah, looks like it. So what am I doing here? Oh yeah, right. So that's moving. So that should not be moving. That should not be moving. Why? Why? Why is it moving? True on, so I'm passing through there. So get selected object within assembly should not be selecting. Not be selecting the solid. So what is happening? We don't know. So let us try to put a warning. Hello. And then maybe the string, just to have a look. Subname string. Hello, subname string. Empty as should be. Not, well, not empty. Well, whatever. We'll see what happens. And here we can say this very clear message. So you see I have the link stage branch here, and I'm always checking it out to see what cool feature it has. And one of them is this toolbar. You know, you can, in link stage, you can take a toolbar and put it here. So that's nice. I like this feature. So I will probably try to implement that. Okay, that's fine. So that finished. Yeah, you even get to have like some quick fact about link stage while watching this awesome video. I mean, how great is it? So why is it moving? And why is it not even asking me something? It's not even... Hello, gr. Oh, because it's the preselection, of course, son of a nut. Because it's the preselection, and in the preselection I have not added this stupid role here. Because I don't need it, so that's why. So if we want to really test, we are going to have to use only, yeah, only the, we have to not take into account the preselection, and then we are going to see if we if we have the behavior that that I want. So I'm a bit sick, huh? You may have noticed my voice is acting all fun. Let's see, let's go. And then if I click that and I move, it doesn't work because it's not selected. If I select the face and I move, it is not moving because it's not a solid. And so if I select solid now and I try to move it, it moves. That's a miracle. miracle, it's working. So let's remove these comments now, and let's get back into the game, you know. Let's see what we have here. So yeah, first let's remove this because we don't want to break it actually. So now we can use this function to find. Yeah, sounds good. So let's use this function. Where? Well, oh yes, here. If selected object is a single solid from. Oh, that is. This is hurting me. If enable movement, so we have the same basically here, because we also want to move only if we are enabling movement, and then if, but here we want false for the preselection and then true for only solid, and so now we want to move only a single object. But why do we want only a single object? Is there an actual reason for that? Or if the user select two objects, why don't we move both objects? Yeah, there is no reason. So we are going to have to accept multiple solution, right? So now let's just go move ahead. So we have like the functions. Let's see, init move. So we are going to have like a function like this, but it's going to be different, right? Because it's going to be init dragger move, and then no, init move dragger, because then init move with dragger. So here I don't think we actually need any argument, but I don't know, so we'll see. Oh god, I have the headache is coming, right? Because it's because it is no, just because I'm sick, sorry. Just, well, let's just remove all of that. Dragger, and let's empty that for now. So let us say something like this, right? So we get the object, let's init move dragger. That's nice. Nice and easy. And then what do we do? And then when the user clear selection, we finish it, right? So let's do it. So if clear selection or remove selection or something else selection, whatever selection, then we just end the move. Okay, so now we want to populate these classes, obviously. So to do that, we have several options. First, I think about it, but that's going to be boring for you guys. So let us rather take this command, like the create exploded view command. And in this command, I am actually doing pretty much that, which is when I click on an object, it triggers this set dragger. So when you set the dragger, it basically, what is it doing? So it's clearing some stuff, it's storing the initial position, then it's doing QI selection, if not selection, for cell in selection. Let's see, what is it actually doing? Okay, it's taking a list of objects basically. all right. So it's just building the list of objects that are going to move, which we are already been doing, and then it's doing this. And then this, which is which is basically what we're going to want to do. So self-assembly dragger visibility equal val, and then button, so we don't care about that, we just want, well, that's dragger visibility, it's a function in here, look at that, set dragger visibility. So when we initialize the mode, we are going to set the visibility to true, so that's logical, and then we are going to set the visibility to false when the move is ending. So that's the first step, right, in our quest to recreate the same behavior. Then step 2, set button. So this button, we don't care about it. So now on align to center, so that's calling this set dragger object placement. So basically it is making the placement appear, and then it is setting the placement of the, oh, that's going to be great, because great, just great. So let us, so it's doing that basically, which is here, set dragger object placement, find dragger initial placement. And here is the fun part, it's that it is using get global placement, which I luckily already have in C++, because it's such a pain, this function, so that's good. So I'm calculating the global placement of the first object, fine, and then initial dragger placement equals, so a copy of this placement, fine. And then this is where the fun happens, is that I'm using this function, get center of bounding box. And of course, this function I have written in Python and not in C++. And so now I'm in C++ and I need this function. And so what happens is that I don't have it, and I'm going to have to write it again. And it wouldn't be so bad, but it's a recursive function that is annoying, so I guess it's going to be a pain. Maybe not a big pain, you know, but at least a little pain. So dragger placement, set the placement to the initial dragger placement, and you are blocking the dragger move. So yeah, fine. So we are going to set the placement. First, we calculate the placement, basically, right? And then we set the placement. All right, guys. Let's copy that. Just for the no copy, I said. Now I go here. So we set the dragger to visible. So that's the first step. Then we calculate, find the placement for the dragger. Well, of course, that's Python code, so that's not going to be helpful, but let's keep it here for reference for now. Then set the placement. So that's good. So base placement, yeah, PLC equals well, get global placement, I guess. How about that? Selected objects, selected parts. Oh, that's painful. That's, oh. I think if I'm not mistaken that in C++ we have get objects, get global placement is not a member. Where is get global placement? Let's see where it is. So Control Shift and F, and it lets you make a search through everything. So that's good. So yes, we have a get global placement in assembly objects base. Yep. So you see, it's in the app part of the assembly object. Get global placement. So you have to have a joint. Oh, great, great, great. Just I mean, just fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, look at that. Oh, wait, what am I complaining about? Look at that, it's already done. We have the overload that takes directly the object and the container. So that's here. And I thought I didn't had it, so it's all good fun. So this is actually the overload. Oh yes, it is. So this is actually directly with the target object and container. Get target placement relative to get target placement relative to. So yeah. So it is it is what it is, I guess. So let's see. First, well, let get dragger placement, set dragger placement. We can already do that. So let's do that. Set the placement. Set dragger placement. Placement. Well, that's nice. Why? Oh yeah, of course, here. So we are going to take the global placement of the first object. And it has to be get selected object within assembly. Is that actually giving us, what is that giving us? Because in assembly we have this like paradigm of, we have like the object and then the containing part, which I often call part in the code. And so this part, it can be the same as the object, but it can be like a container of the solid. So if in case where you have a app part and then inside you have solids, so directly part features, then the containing part is saved as well, because actually the object which is inside the part, its placement is relative to the up part, and so when you want to calculate the global placement, it's a mess and so on. So anyway, so let's not get into too much details, but here get global placement, and so we want to feed it initialize move dragger. Initialize move dragger. Initialize. So duck to move first. Okay, duck to move. That's a vector. Yeah. Duck to move. No, wait. Let's say auto obj equals duck to move 0 dot first, and that should be an app document object. Let's write it because we want to make sure it is. So that's fine, and so here we can put that and maybe that again, because I think we are actually getting the part. And so get as no. Ho ho ho, Mr. Funny Pants. You're not an assembly object, Mr. Fancy Pants, alright? And what about now? Ah, that's better. So now let's hope that Oh, come on. Oh, my throat is hurting so much. It's... So here, if we don't get it right, it's not going to work. So because if it is so it's going to work most of the time, but then there is going to be the times where it doesn't work, and I know about it, so I cannot be blind and say, yeah, it's going to be fine, because it's going to be annoying and I'm going to have to fix it. So let me, oh wait, I didn't check on time for a long time. 36 minutes. Well, I do hope I can upload 1 hour now, right? So we'll see if I can. I hope I can. Yeah, whatever. Come on. Check if the selected object. So, what am I doing here? I don't remember. So that's good. Yeah, get global placement and the object. We fear that it's not the good object. So let's say here, the object is determined by the get object from subnames. Oh, but yeah, and the thing is that this object, so the problem is that this object, it can actually be an external object, right? Because it can be inside a link to a part, and so the part that is linked is in another document, and so the object itself is an external object. It's not inside this document, and so this is why we have this part and object thing in assembly, the containing part and then the object itself. And so if I'm getting the global placement of the external object within the part, then it's going to give me the placement in the other file, and that's not good. That's going to be bad, very bad. So, so what we want is to have like the get object from subnames. Let us see what this is actually doing. But this is, I'm using this actually. So there's really 2 possibilities. The first one is that is derived get type ID assembly object part. So the thing is that if it is a part, oh right, so yeah, if I have to explain to you, I have to get into many details and it's going to be boring, like very boring. But basically this function is actually getting the containing part. So what happens? Well, let me give you the technical details that you didn't ask for, right? So this is the situation. You have parts, you have an assembly, inside you have a part, inside you have a box, let's say, whatever, phase 1. Okay, so here you see this object is in the same document, so it's fine. You can link directly to the object. You can do get global placement of this object, and it will find like the placement of the real object. But then you have another situation. You have link to parts, and this is where it gets tricky, because actually this box object is in another file, right? It's not in p.FreeCAD standard. It is in c.FreeCAD p2.FreeCAD standard, and then part.box.phase1. And so what happens is that if you get only the object box and you are looking for the global placement of the box document object, it will just take the box in this document and find you the placement here. But this is not the placement we want. We want the placement here. So in assembly, we are always saving like the name of the document object, because you cannot save a link. Well, never mind. So the object and also the containing part. And the containing part is the first object that is of type like something like a link to a part or a part or something like a part basically. So, well, long story short, this function is actually returning the part, so it's going to return this and not this, right? So that means that in assembly you cannot move. So let us try, because we want to try, right? I'm sure you're dying to try. So if I make a part, oh wait, I already have a part, like look at this part. Oh, that's a nice part. So if I put this part in the assembly and then I try to move this part, well, of course it's broken because I broke it, you remember, when we were trying to to break stuff. So that's great. But you see here I'm moving it and all the part is moving. That's because the object we're saving is actually the part. So that's great. Oh, that's great for now, at least in our document. So let's go back here. Okay, let's forget about that. So we can do it like this, object. So that's going to be fine. And then, so we are doing get global placement. And then what we want is the center of the bounding box. And first this, yeah, this is making a copy, I think. Yeah, it's not a pointer. It's okay. So this is, yeah. Now we want to be able to do base, PLC base. So in C++ that it's like that. So let's call that pose equals to whatever. And then we'll do plc.set position and then pose and then set dragger position, angular position. So now the thing is that we want this, and this function we don't have it in C++. So the fun begins now. So we don't know where to put this function. It could be in a util, but calculating the center of a bounding box requires access to the bounding box, which is a property of the view object. So it cannot be an assembly part. So by the way, we are actually using the center of the bounding box rather than the center of gravity, because calculating the center of gravity seems to seems to be very power hungry. Well, it needs a lot of power, so it was lagging basically. So in the end I was using the center of the bounding box, which is very close to the center of mass. So anyway, so we are going to create this function in C++. So let us see how it is implemented in Python, because I have always done that, right? No, not that. Get bounding box. Get center of bounding box. Isn't that bound to be fun? Oh yeah, I'm doing this video for free, huh? I can make you listen to my bad jokes if I want to. Yeah, let's ask ChatGPT. Can you please translate this FreeCAD function to C++, please? And it's going to be very nice and just give it to us, right? And if you think that it's going to work, then you are very, very wrong. It's not going to work. That's for sure. But anyway, so what we want is a function that returns a vector of 3D, that is called, no, that is called that, but we don't paste all of that here. And so yeah, get center, it returns that, it takes it as argument. What is it taking as arguments? A vector? I think it was a vector. Let us see, it's going to write it for us anyway, so. But yes, it's not going to work as well as you would guess. Oh yes, so you see this function is also, so is taking not only a vector of object, but a vector of parts. And again, this is the same problem as I mentioned before, right? It's that the object, it can be an external object which is inside a link, and so the placement, you have to know in which containing part it's located, because if you don't, then it's going to blow up. So yeah, great, we have to do something like that, right? And so this can be const, I think. Yeah, it can be, wait a minute, it can be a static function. Static. I'm ecstatic about it. It's just, yeah, it's just going to keep coming, you know, more and more good jokes like this. It's open source, open jokes, you know. Okay, get center of bounding box, so I think that's pretty much it. Let us see, base vector 3, okay. And then well, we can try it, maybe it's working out of the box. Where sometimes ChatGPT these days, sometimes it just works. And surprisingly, it's like, let's just put something like utils. Great. So we could have, like, the question you might ask is, why are you putting this function inside view provider assembly? We could put it just in a utils file, and that would be right. But that would require to create a new util.blah blah file and adding it to CMake file and so on. So it's not, we'll do it later. It's not important. So let us see what, assume get global placement is defined somewhere. Oh yes, because we are going to need get global placement again. That's here. Get global placement, so you need assembly of fine bounding box. Const base bound box 3D. So that looks good. Look at that. For E, why is it using? Oh yeah, because we are accessing parts and object at the same time. So that's why. Let me check the time, because we don't want to reach 1 hour. That would be too much. So we won't. Yeah, let us try 1 hour. I hope YouTube is going to accept that. So what was I saying? I was saying that bounding box. So I don't know what is this object, but as it's existing, I guess, yeah, it's the correct object. Get bounding box. Bounding box is empty. That's not a real function. Bounding box empty, something like that. Let's see what we have. Get center, intersect, blah blah blah, invalid. Invalid. So that could be it, but is valid. Perfect. Let us see if is valid. Well, no, if not valid. If is not valid. Continue. So that's the protection, you know. Here it's get center, bbox center, and then if parts not equal to object, well, in our case it's going to be equal to object, right? But bbox does not take into account object global placement, blah 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 of placement. So we are creating a placement called PLC, and then B-box center, anti-rotation, that's fine. And then, oh, that's not, oh, in C++ it's not that fun, huh? It's not that fun. So that's one of the downside of C++. It's that it's kind of crazy. It's like when you, some of the syntax is kind of crazy. So get placement. So actually I have some utils because you have to get the property get placement. Oh yes, I have a static function in assembly objects that I can use. Moving joint. Yeah, so I'm going to use that up here. So let's see. So object E placement inverse. Okay, right. So object placement. So you have to do object placement. Object dot placement equals to get placement from property, and then here object E, and then here we write placement. So that's very, this syntax is heavy as hell. It's annoying. And here we can use object placement. So object placement dot inverse dot multiplied by placement, and then change PLC to be relative to the origin of the document. So we do get global placement, of course. And then, oh yes, but for get global placement, maybe you need to do something like that, right? Yes, you are. See what happens. So global placement equals, we put that here, we remove, no, here we want that get global placement. Okay, so oh no, it's static. So, but wait a moment, isn't that a static function? It should be a static function. If it's not, then we want to change that. Where are you? Here. Get global placement. This should be a static function, so I can access it from another static function, of course. So what we want is to mark that as a static function, which means it's going to break something here, I guess, because here it is calling get placement relative to so it cannot call this function if this function is not static. And the question is, can this function be static? Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, get global placement function is just hell. It's just hell. Get placement from property. So all of those functions, they have to be, let us think. This, it should be static. Well, at least there is, I don't think there is any reason for it to not be static. Let's see, where is it? Oh, it is already static. Oh, that's nice. Getters, get target placement, and then get global placement. Wait a moment, it's already, what have I changed? What? But what is wrong with me? Why am I putting a static here? This is just, I must be tired. So it's already static, right? So what am I doing? Where am I? I changed something here. So let's save that again. Okay, let's get back here. So get global placement everywhere. I've used assembly part. It's not required, right? So we remove that. and then I'm going to change it in every place. I'm using get global placement because, well, look at that. Smart pants, it's only here. Get global placement, get global placement, get global placement. Okay, alright. Let's calm down. It's a bit too crazy right now. Center equal plus equal box center. Well, I really hope on YouTube you can see the font size. I have not thought about it. I mean, it seems to be big enough, but I hope it is. Well, at least it should be in 1080p, so yeah, you should be able to read. Because if you're listening to me for 1 hour and it's actually not even readable, that would be really bad. So I'm at 56 minutes, right? So we are going to end that very soon. So let us just see what we're doing here. Wait a moment, is defined somewhere, placement, blah blah blah. Okay, fine. That's just a comment. So I think this function is probably going to be fine. It looks it looks like it's going to be fine. So now we are very close to it, you know, to be able at least to initialize the dragger placement. And to do that, we are going to put here, so we have to get, oh god, that's bad. I need to pass. So anyway, let us do that very quickly. Vector, and then we have like document object and a list of objects. Okay, because I want something that I can pass that I can pass here, right? Because if I don't, I can't use my function. And the problem is that this is like a vector of pairs, so I have to first iterate for auto pair in dogs to move push back the pair dot first semicolon. Well, I think that's it. Okay, so I'm very glad you've watched with me till now. So we are reaching 1 hour. So now we are, I think this init move dragger function is fine. I think it's fine. And we'll test that in the next video. Bye bye.